Yeah, he's now in the legal trouble portion of this. Alvin Kamara is. I don't know if this is going to affect this next season, and of course, I guess we will see once we start getting further down the legal situation. Also, Green has filed a civil lawsuit.
I was about to say he's trying to get paid now. You gotta do that
I mean,
too.
there's two portions of that for sure, and he is seeking $10 million.
They'll try to get
damages.
a settlement out of Kamara. Watch.
Yeah, I imagine that.
We'll settle for 5.
Yeah, but the tough thing about it is when you have that legal criminal portion of it, like that's not one that you can really settle. According to the initial police report, Green told the Las Vegas Metro Police that he was waiting for an elevator. And
That's
then after the elevator doors open, you saw the video. Kamara allegedly put his hands on Green's chest, stopping him from entering the elevator. Green pushed Kamara and then, was pushed hard.
Hands were laid.
Yeah. And then, that is the situation as it relates to Alvin Kamara. It's the Get Right with Reggie KG on 105.3 The Fan. Appreciate you rocking with myself, Reginald Atula. That is Chris Arnold sitting in for KG. Coming up next, I have a little hypothetical for you, CA. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes looks really good. He is the leader of the new school of quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's the best.
Which of his contemporaries wins the Super Bowl next?
Ooh, I like that.
We talk about it next on 105.3 The Fan.
You can wait 24 hours. Or you can find out Cowboys and NFL insider info immediately by listening to Super Bowl winning scout Brian Broaddus, part of the G-Bag Nation. Afternoons 2 to 7, right here on The Fan and our Odyssey app.
This is the exclusive home of Dallas Cowboys football. KRLD-FM and HD1, Dallas, Fort Worth. Let's go, Cowboys.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
From our fan studio secured by DFWsecurity.com, it's time for the Get Right on 105.3 The Fan.
Yes, indeed. It is the Get Right with Reg and KG on 105.3 The Fan.
Wee!
I'm Reginald Atatula. That's Chris Arnold
Got you
sitting in
down.
for KG tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you, sir.
You too.
Larry Flores on the ones and twos, making it sound good and playing audio, all that good stuff. Making sure that you guys can get podcasts. There's a lot of stuff going on behind that window, man. You want to say hi to the people, Larry?
What up?
I'm surprised. I thought you were going to say no. Look, we got you to do a little extra work today. Ain't that crazy?
That's all you get. That's it.
Nope, you're going to have to talk when we get to this or that at 10:20. So, yeah, go ahead and save up your energy for that, buddy. Thanks for listening. 105 through the Fan. You can always get involved in the program on the truckwreck.com text line 877-881-1053 or on twitch.tv/Dallas Fan Cam or also on YouTube. Find 105.3 The Fan. Go ahead and hop in there and I will see you. And I will absolutely now see you as I've just pulled it up. I was scrolling the internet, CA.
You're perusing?
As I often do, yes. It's one of my favorite pastimes. It's just being on the internet looking at stuff.
You know what? They used to call it surfing back then. Are you surf the internet?
Yeah.
You ever surf the internet?
What were we doing in the 90s? Why did everything have to be like extreme sports? We were like, are you on the computer? You're surfing now. How does that sound?
Are you surfing the World Wide Web?
I'm glad that we went with that instead of like, I'm rollerblading the internet.
Yes.
That's right. And while I was doing that, I found
skiing the internet.
Yeah, that would sound real weird. Mm-hmm. What are your alternatives to surfing the internet, surfing the web?
877-881-1053.
Yeah. Let's get weird with it. But I did find this hypothetical that I find interesting because we can talk about the league this way, and the league has been really pushed forward. It's been advertised on the faces of quarterbacks for a long time.
Yes.
And if you think about it, those faces have been very few for a great time. I mean, obviously you just had Tom Brady retire after playing 73 years in the league, right?
Aaron Rodgers right behind him.
Aaron Rodgers.
He's 40.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning forever.
You can maybe talk about Eli. You can maybe talk
it's
about
the same
Breeze.
quarterbacks.
You can maybe talk
Breeze.
about Rivers, Roethlisberger. But
Romo was in there
those
too,
ones,
forever.
those ones not even more so. We're talking about like really selling the league and carrying the league.
Exactly.
Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers,
Peyton
Manning. Those feel like the main ones, right? And now we've got this whole new class of quarterbacks coming in to carry the mold. And we've really like gotten rid of the old. It feels like over the last year or two, we've had that passing of the torch to now the faces in the league are clearly Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts.
All of them in their 20s.
And with that being the case, there's a lot of Mahomes' contemporaries, and clearly Mahomes stands above the rest. However, which one of those contemporaries is most likely to win a Super Bowl next? CA. Let's have this conversation right here on 105.
You're leaving out one.
Who am I leaving out?
Jacksonville.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. He's in the conversation after taking them to the playoffs last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you cannot ignore if the reinstatement goes through, Calvin Ridley will be added to that another year.
They're going to be a strong squad.
They did a lot of growth within the course of the season.
The name you kind of leaving out a little bit because he had an off year and everybody.
Just Herbert?
No,
I mentioned him.
You mentioned Herbert. Kyler Murray.
You went into Kyrie.
Yeah. I've been basketball on the brain.
Yeah, he's excited. He's ready for All-Star break and coming back around.
Kyler Murray, Allen's own.
Yeah.
He was in the conversation until this season. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. Would you have any interest in taking Kyler? See, I done made the same mistake. We're just gonna count him up. That's two mistakes.
At least
for us.
we didn't say Kawhi.
Yeah, that's a great point. He's a fun guy, I've heard. No, are you willing to take Kyler in this experiment or in this conversation?
Not yet.
Okay.
I was a couple of years ago, but not yet. Let me tell you why. Not tell you why, but let me tell you who I think is the next one in this group. Another one is Joe Burrow.
That's who you're feeling.
Oh my God. I am a Joe Burrow advocate. He goes to Cincinnati, all of a sudden everything is elevated. Don't get me wrong. It didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
But last year when they went to the Super Bowl, and then he followed up this year with the way he played and the way the team played, and they're part of. You had to go through them to get some stuff done in the AFC.
Absolutely. And
by the way, this when Kansas City beat Cincinnati this year was the first time Patrick Mahomes ever beat Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Period. Anywhere, anytime, any place.
That's right.
So I was like, wait a minute now. If Patrick Mahomes, the best of the best, had not beaten Joe Burrow was in the conversation.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is
he's
very
next.
good. The questions that I have with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals is the Cincinnati Bengals in some ways. And what I mean by that is, one, I need to reevaluate how I feel about the head coach, Zach Taylor. But when he got that job, I was not sold on him.
I wasn't sold on him.
He was
Joe
ready.
Burrow got there.
It really felt like he was on the hot seat, 3 seasons into it. And then this thing started taking off. And I'm still not certain that I know for certain that he is a good football coach. That is something I'm going to admit I need to work on. But the thing I'm definitely not sold on is Mike Brown, the owner. Like,
oh yeah,
historically, one of the cheapest organizations.
Will
And
Chambers lived in Cincinnati. He would tell horror stories about
they've
that team.
started spending some money recently. But I don't know, is this one of those things where you take a step out and then you fall back into your ways, right? Like a New Year's resolution where you go to the gym for a week or two and then now you're back on the couch again. Or is this a real change? Because if it's a real change and they're investing in that organization, I like Joe Burrow as a pick.
The 432 asks, Dak isn't on that new quarterback list? No, he's 30 years old this summer. Dak he's past he's not in the contemporary, in my mind, of the Patrick Mahomes group because he's just a little bit older. To me, he's like 5 years older than them.
Well, he's only 2 years older than Patrick Mahomes, though.
Really?
Yeah, 29, and then Patrick Mahomes is 27.
I didn't know Patrick Mahomes was 27.
Yeah.
I forgot about his rookie year. We sat on the bench the whole year.
That's right.
And like I said, Dak's going to be 30 in July. So
I mean, if you want to put him in that conversation, 432. Same with you. Obviously, 214. Tua Tagovailoa is in that age range. If you want to put him in there, please do. And
by the way, the 214 says CAOGAF. You got that script for next year? Yeah, Arian Foster gave it the script, so it's going to be Joe Burrow.
Y'all just gonna keep getting at me with this script, aren't you? Oh my goodness!
Boy.
I'm not even sure if on that podcast that they were being serious.
He wasn't. He had laughter emojis after it took off. He started putting laughter emojis on and stuff. Foster got his name recognition.
The tough thing about
he's back to being relevant.
You know what? As we take a little detour here, CA, there was a point in time where I could just like laugh at a lot of conspiracy theories because it was fun.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I don't know who's laughing because they get it or laughing because they believe. And that makes me really uncomfortable. Am I wrong here?
No, you're not wrong. In fact, I call those people who believe in the script the NFL anon.
Okay. All right. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. You got it. You got it, OG. You got it.
Some people believe and some people think it's crazy.
If we want to throw Dak in this situation, I wonder where would he be on your like power ranking of quarterbacks?
Opportunity.
To be the next one. Yeah, to get there.
Okay.
Because again, I know that we're doing this in the vein of the quarterback.
Well,
but
here's why we're leaning towards the quarterbacks who probably have the opportunity. They have insane arm talent, or they have something that's like. Even though Lamar Jackson doesn't have insane arm talent, he's got really good arm talent, but he's got these wheels. You know, he can move in the pocket, move outside the pocket. He can make things happen. He's like Michael Vick, but he's very accurate. People forget he won the Heisman Trophy was he a sophomore when he's at Louisville?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's been very accurate for a while.
And that's a pro style offense that Bobby Petrino runs. That's not an easy one to navigate.
I just don't look at Dak having insane arm talent. I think he's got all these other intangibles. I think he's a top 10, top 12 quarterback. He's always going to be in the hunt, but he's not going to carry a team in my mind, and I love Dak. I just don't look at him as having this insane arm talent. I just think if you put enough pieces around him. In other words, I said this before this year's Super Bowl. If Jalen Hurts wins the damn Super Bowl, Cowboy fans who hate on Dak Prescott, that is proof that Dak Prescott, too, can win a Super Bowl because Jalen Hurts does not have insane arm talent. You got to surround a guy like that with everything you need to win because he's not going to screw it up. Dak won't screw it up. He did in the playoffs this year, so I can't say he's perfect. But here's for those who don't know why he threw all these picks this year, because that's an anomaly for him. He doesn't throw picks like that normally. He's turnover adverse. His coach has told this story, and so has Dak. He told Dak, you've got to weigh the risk reward because he wasn't throwing into coverages all these years. And that's why Denver came up with a formula, the blueprint saying, we know how to stop Dak. have 7 and 8 guys in that secondary, and Dak won't throw into it. And Coach McCarthy said, look, risk reward. So Dak started throwing into the coverages, and it got burned.
I feel like the question being asked here on the TruckWreck.com text line, I hope I'm understanding what you're saying, 214. Is Patrick Mahomes only good because of the system that he was on a team that didn't have the same kind of, if he was on a team that didn't have the same kind of offense? I think that we have to acknowledge the fact that, like, your circumstances matter in these things.
They do.
That being said, Patrick Mahomes, if you think that that's the system, I have questions of how many of these games that you've been watching and how intently you've been doing so. And I don't mean that like to be shady or anything, but we have seen him individually, like, apply individual brilliance to this game.
For years.
Now, of course, being in the system where Andy Reid is calling great plays and things of that nature,
helps.
and, you know, Eric Bieniemy helping set up a great offense and having talented players to throw to. I mean, I figured that this season would help acknowledge that there's a good amount of him in here because they lessened the talent that he was playing with.
And
he was able to make things happen.
Yeah, exactly. How many people can lose a Tyreek Hill and still win the whole damn thing? In fact, that's why the Chiefs, where they were saying post-game and post-parade celebration, the haters said we were in rebuild mode because they lessened the talent on the roster. It's kind of like when the Cowboys this past offseason lessened the talent. I said, they're going to win 8 games at the most. They've lessened the talent, and they expect to win more games. Well, guess what? And I've said this again. I apologize to Mike McCarthy, because when Dak's thumb got injured, all of a sudden you saw something that analytics doesn't show: character and chemistry. The defense carried them through those hard times, and the backup quarterback, Cooper Rush, didn't mess it up. Therefore, they were in position when Dak came back to win 12 games again. They couldn't get to the promised land, but they had a better season than the year before when they won 12 games and with lesser talent. To me, is it a fluke? Well, guess what? Mike McCarthy's job is on the line because they're betting they got to get to the NFC Championship game this year.
All right, so let's get back to this question of Mahomes' contemporaries. Which of them is most likely to win a Super Bowl? I think we both like Joe Burrow. Let's consider some of the other ones.
Okay.
Obviously, Josh Allen is one that got a lot of burn, coming into this past season.
Yeah.
He had that UCL injury that clearly hampered him in some ways. Some people view that as maybe possible regression as well. How do you feel about Josh Allen and the team that he has in Buffalo with the opportunity of doing this? We're meanwhile paying attention to the fact that the 2 guys we've named are also in the AFC, and they're having to contend with Patrick Mahomes, and we have not taken that into consideration yet.
Okay, Josh Allen was the preseason MVP favorite. Buffalo started off so strong, and they were always in the hunt. To me, he had a lot of turnovers, but then Matthew Stafford had a lot of turnovers and won the damn Super Bowl the year before. I look at the turning point for Kansas City, and people don't talk about this right now, but they brought in our boy from DeSoto, Von Miller, just to stop the quarterback in the playoffs. Well, Von Miller got hurt.
Yeah.
And Von Miller was having a hell of a season. He was sacking the quarterback. He was doing what he does best. And when he went down, to me, their odds went down.
Absolutely.
So if Von Miller is healthy, if that team stays healthy, I think Josh Allen could be number 2 on this list behind Joe Burrow. Or maybe a coin flip, because Josh Allen does have the talent.
Okay, so those 2 you feel like we're at the top of these guys, but how do we feel about the idea of Jalen Hurts? Understanding he plays Philadelphia, don't nobody around here like him or like that, right? The Philadelphia Eagles. But
I think they can run it back. Now, let me tell you why I say this.
Okay.
It's not just him. It's the entire team. And he's the perfect quarterback for that system.
They're losing both their coordinators, though. Don't forget that.
That is true. So there may be a little step back, but at the same time, he had a hell of a Super Bowl.
He sure did.
He didn't lose that Super Bowl for them. They just didn't have the ball back. They couldn't get the ball back.
I'm with you there.
Jalen Hurts, I had to. And again, here's the most wild statistic in the NFL. No one has won the NFC East back-to-back since 2004 when McNabb did it with Philadelphia.
Right.
And do you think Philadelphia's going to win it again? They very could win back-to-back NFC East division championships.
Hell, they have 2 first-round picks this year, man.
And, I don't know if the Cowboys are going to be better and win 13 games next year. I know they could beat Philadelphia, but I don't know if they're going to win the division.
And that remains to be seen. But I like some of the what are the better say value. I like some of the value with the Jalen Hurts possibility in this hypothetical.
Yeah, there you go. I like the Las Vegas value
because he's playing in the NFC, and the NFC does not have as many of these like dangerous, dominant teams. It's one of the things we were talking about this year.
Teams, it's the quarterbacks. Like you said, all these quarterbacks in the AFC, most of them. Think about it. By the way, Herbert, I love him. I've always loved him. But he got a new offensive coordinator, too.
Yeah, they're going to be figuring some things out this season.
I don't know. To me, I don't dislike Kellen Moore, but what we watched with Kellen Moore, and nothing against his brain, but we were watching on-the-job training. In other words, he doesn't have the wisdom to go toe-to-toe in the playoffs with some of these defensive coordinators. He can have all kinds of stats and wins in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, we were watching on-the-job training. And the past 2 years, even though they won 12 games, the last 2 regular seasons in a row, how about 12 points and 15 points in the playoffs? That's it.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore. And you know he misused Tony Pollard and CeeDee Lamb the year before.
All right, so CA, you're locked in on Joe Burrow as the Mahomes contemporary most likely to win the next Super Bowl. I still got concerns about that organization. I don't know how much I want to believe in them. You got Josh Allen. People are talking about Justin Fields. Justin Fields is also in that organization. Do you feel like the Bears are going to get it done? Because that's another organization I got real questions about. They're already torn down. They just got the number 1 overall pick, and that's not because like they have the real problem with talent on that team.
What about over there in San Francisco?
Trey Lance.
Yeah, Trey. Yeah.
I don't even know if they know what they have there in Trey Lance.
Here's what's so crazy about Trey Lance situation.
But they could win it just off the strength of that team.
Had Purdy not got hurt, would Purdy be the starting quarterback going into the season? I'm not even saying going to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying if he not got hurt,
going into the season,
because his arm injury is going to go into the regular season.
I think the hope is that they can get this done for training camp and he can participate there and actually do the.
I know one thing:
battle.
San Francisco is going to be a team to be aware of. Because you can slide in any quarterback.
Yeah.
That's quarterback.
That's a great point. We did not give enough consideration to that.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said, what about Mac Jones? I don't know about that, man.
I don't think Belichick like him right now. I'm not sure.
There's questions about Bailey Zappi playing. Wow, that's tough. You want to say
anything else about Sunshine before we get out of here? Because Jacksonville thinks they got a squad.
That's a good team, but I think with what we were talking about, with now the experience that some of these other teams have developed, when we talk about the Bills, the Bengals, it feels like they have an even tougher road to traverse for me to pick Trevor Lawrence as that contemporary next to win a Super Bowl.
He had a hell of a second half in that playoff game, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I mean, it's like it all
like the talent and the ability is absolutely there for him as an individual, for sure. Oh, man. I don't think we came to a perfect conclusion. But we'll say that Burrow is our answer for now.
Let's say Burrow for now. And you can check us on this about a year from now.
We're going to have to because, I mean, they haven't even gotten into the offseason, truly. We don't know what these teams are going to look like. So it'll be interesting to talk about this as the offseason progresses into next year and obviously just into this next generation of young quarterbacks in this league. Get right.
Can I say this one other thing, too?
Please do.
We've been slipping on Patrick Mahomes, too, because guess what? He might go back-to-back. He's been to 5 straight AFC championship games.
Oh, so you think he's just going to box everybody out for the rest of the,
it's very
rest
possible.
of time?
I don't know about for the rest of the time, but it might be, who knows? He might create his legacy, and we're watching it as we speak.
Yeah, he's so good at football. It's the Get Right with Reggie KG on 105.3 The Fan. Appreciate you rocking with us. Coming up next, All-Star Weekend, ready to go once we get these games done today. And that means All-Star Saturday night is coming up. Let's see if we can fix it. Speaking of the dunk contest, do you have a fix for it or maybe a replacement for it?
Let me get my surgical gloves.
Yeah, we'll do all that next on 105.3 The Fan.
Keep the volume turned up all day and night. And thanks for being a Tolo. We're DFW Sports Station 105.3 The Fan.
Get Right with Reggie KG on 105.3 The Fan. Reginald Atatula. Chris Arnold in for KG tonight.
Got you down.
Larry Flores having a little snack in the middle of the show. Yes, I'm putting you on blast. Thanks for rocking with us on 105.3 The Fan. It's All-Star break, just about. At least for the Mavs. The Mavs are already on All-Star break, Tom.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 basketball games happening in the NBA tonight, but basically, it's All-Star break.
And by the way, for those who forget, the NBA Players Union and the owner group, when they had their negotiations, they extended the All-Star break. So after the All-Star game, there's not any games until like the next Thursday. Luka's already said he's going to Mexico after the game.
Yeah.
He's going to chill.
And the way that he said it, I'm not going to, look, I'm not trying to be messy.
However,
the way he said it made it seem like I need this break so bad.
Yeah.
It made me want to go put in PTO. Like
right.
just hearing him, and I was like, man,
right.
I need to take a break too. He sounds so tired. I'm going to take a break to help him out.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. But All-Star break coming up, and with the All-Star weekend, it used to be that All-Star Saturday night was one of the biggest deals.
Sometimes it was better than the All-Star game.
And that was in large part because you had the slam dunk contest, which was like the crown jewel of the night. And now it feels like the saddest part. You know, you go through the skills challenge and you go through 3-point contest, which is now.
It's really premier. The 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get to the dunk contest and it's just like
an afterthought.
Oh, this is sad.
It's so sad.
Like it feels like, I don't know if people remember the old timers game.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah.
They started getting hurt and pulling.
And that's the thing is that's where the sadness was. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is not. I don't like this. This is not supposed to make me feel.
I
this
think
way.
they replaced the old timers game with the
celebrity game.
No, they've always had that. They replaced it with the sophomores versus the rookies.
That's right.
The up and comers, or
I
whatever.
think they call it. Is that the Jordan game thing now? I forget the name. I'll get everything is sponsored in the NBA because they getting their money. But
For real.
we are going to try and put our big brains together, myself, CA, and you, on the truckwreck.com text line, 877-881-1053, the Twitch chat, and the YouTube chat. Can we fix the slam dunk contest? And if not, do you have a replacement for it? Because I have an idea that I'm keeping in my back pocket, and I've been waiting since literally months ago to get this one off. But the slam dunk contest. First of all, Cashman Camden on the Twitch chat asked, why do you think big name guys aren't doing the dunk contest, CA? Like, why aren't we having fun with it anymore?
I think it's because this is what they've been saying over the years, because they have too much to lose. Now, LeBron has never been in the slam dunk contest. And
he told us he would once.
Yeah, he said he would. He said he would if they had it at AT&T Stadium. When the Cowboys Stadium hosted the All-Star game, I was fortunate enough to MC that game. And they had the American Airlines Center. He used that as an out. But most of them feel like, okay, because I'm considered a great dunker in traffic in a game, and if you don't win it, then your value goes down and you might lose some of your endorsements. Not your contract in the league, but some endorsements or whatever. So a lot of these guys shy away from it. To me, the last great dunk contest. Well, put it like this. The contest was Aaron Gordon and
Zach LaVine.
Those 2 times that they dunked and the judges got it wrong because Aaron Gordon won a couple of those, or maybe won at least one of them. Those were, by the way, those guys weren't big names, but the last big name guy to win the dunk contest and to me put on a show of all time, Vince
Carter.
And I was at that one. I was at Kobe's. I was at Jordan versus Dominic.
Human highlight reel.
Yes, I was at the one in Chicago where Jordan, all his accolades. I was at Spuds here in Dallas. I went to 21. I've been to 21 NBA All-Star weekends, 21 of them. Vince put on a hell of a show. I'm telling you, all by himself. Just look at the YouTube highlights. It's like, damn, for a one man performance. But the back and forth, Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. But they were nobody had heard of those guys at the time. I don't know if you could say.
You tell me you don't know who Mac McClung is? Oh, okay.
Who? And by the way, Desmond Mason, he also did a great job in the outside. Desmond Mason, low-key, real good. Oklahoma State, and I think he's from here too, Waxahachie.
Okay, so we're already starting to get some ideas on how to fix it. From the 940, have a cash prize for the winner so more rookies and second-year players are willing to do it. My question is, how much money do you think it would take to make it worth their while? Don't get me started 682 because Blake Griffin jumping over a Kia was the
not
bane of my
impressed.
existence.
I hated that. I hated that.
Can I rant for a second, CA?
Go ahead.
All right.
Get it off your chest.
All right.
The floor is on yours.
All right, here we go. That was the worst. The absolute worst part of the dunk contest situation.
Well,
when people started bringing in all these props and having Kenny Smith over here hype manning it up instead of actually Blake Griffin stole one of JaVale McGee's dunk contest wins by jumping over the hood, not the top, the hood of a sedan. Hey man, everybody in that dunk contest can jump over the hood of the sedan. It wasn't even that impressive. It was like it was just a prop there. What are we doing? That was the worst portion of like the slam dunk contest existence.
I agree. It was just like, come on, man.
Anyways, no, I don't know like what the incentive is that gets people to like want to do it, because I've had this idea that we might not have infinite dunks that are like physical, that are like doable.
Yes.
Right? Like there's obviously, if you spin 5 times in the air and then dunk. Yeah, but these things aren't like easily doable. And then also, you were mentioning in the break a point that absolutely makes sense is the anticlimactic nature of like
the do-over,
taking all these do-overs to get the dunk.
It sucks the life out of the contest. It's like, wait a minute, you're about to. Oh man, it's like you get ready to go up there and you kind of.
What does it sound like, CA? Okay, fantastic.
I wouldn't say it.
So, but with that, in order to to be able to make these incredibly difficult dunks, it feels like you need that opportunity. It's hard to get high difficulty and get it on the first time every time to build all of that. So I think that we might be in a place where the slam dunk contest is kind of cooked. Also,
I think it is kind of cooked.
I'm in this place where I kind of like indicting the audience. It's also y'all's fault. And you want to know why? Y'all's expectations are unfair.
That's true.
Y'all have unfair, and some of this is because we have seen so much incredible stuff.
Yes, over the years.
But the expectations are unfair. We see like a good dunk, they're like, I don't know, that's a 5. And I'm like, that was a good dunk.
You know, so wild. We see the dunk on YouTube or whatever highlights in slow motion. You see it in regular speed first, and then you see the slow motion version. So when you see the live action version of it, you're not impressed. And then you see the slow motion maybe later on the big screen, and they go, oh, well, I guess that was. And then you're mad at the judges for getting it wrong.
All right, someone said we don't need the top stars. You just need young, upcoming stars who are really athletic.
Or some street amateurs. Look,
they're
the
kind of doing
tour.
that.
The and one tour guys. Not from back in the day, but I'm talking about that kind of thing.
I think that sometimes
from the rec leagues.
I know that they're definitely bringing in young guys now, and even then, the young guys are having trouble, putting these dunks down immediately. So that's still an issue. The street amateurs, I don't know. That's interesting, but I wonder if people are still going to be interested in it because some part of the All-Star game is seeing the best in the best in the league.
I'm gonna tell you something. Sean Kemp, I don't believe he's ever won a slam dunk contest, but he was the best in-game, in-traffic dunker you have ever seen. What?
From the 4.69, Nate Robinson dunk contests were the worst? Really?
I'm going to tell you something. They weren't the worst, but I didn't like him. You know why?
What?
He looked, okay, Spud looked like a young kid.
This is your preference thing?
Yeah. Spud looked like a young kid, like he could get carded going into the bar, right? Here's Nate Robinson looking 45 years old, even though he was short like Spud. He just looked like a little football player. You know what I'm saying? He'd go up there and dunk, and then he'd mean mug. Now I'm like, come on, Nate.
Yeah.
But
he won it 3 times. Although, to be fair, can we be honest? He got the short guy bump.
Exactly.
And sometimes you get the big guys who are capable of doing fun dunks, but it's like, oh, well, he's tall. He's supposed to dunk. I'm like, why are you taking points off of that? It's not fair.
You know what he did one time that I did not like it, but some people loved it. He actually jumped over Spud and dunked.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I did not like that. Because I told you, first of all, Spud's
You're
my guy.
Spud guy, yeah.
But I was like, come on, man. You can't be dunking over Spud. Spud, like I said, when Spud won the dunk contest, he was the first little man to win it, right?
Yeah. But it was the homage. CA?
Exactly. I know it was an homage, but I was just like, I told you, Spud looked like a teenager. Here's Nate Robinson looked like a grown-ass man. Like LeBron looked like a grown-ass man getting Yeah, come on.
You
I
bu-
just wouldn't.
I feel like this is some level of body shaming. I can't connect the dots yet. I'm gonna find it though. All right. So how about this, CA? I'm gonna give you an idea.
Wait.
No, go ahead.
I'm laughing because the 254 says you could do the entire dunk contest with Sean Kemp's kids.
All right now. Okay now.
They
Y'all-
dunk like him.
Y'all be careful.
Easy.
Okay, so I'm going to put forward my idea. Not too much on me now.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to say this again. 214 said Nate got laid out in that boxing match. He sure did.
Yeah, he did.
He turned into a
He
meme.
bit off a little bit more than he.
Yeah, he turned into a meme.
I didn't get why none of these athletes are out here trying to get hit in
Why
the
y'all
face.
doing that?
You really don't have to. Like, you already
don't
made your
have
money
to.
not getting hit in the face.
Right, now you wanna
Why would you
embarrass
willingly
yourself.
do that? And not even the embarrassment. Even if you won, you would get hit in the face. What are you doing? Okay, so I have an idea.
Here's your idea.
To maybe try and replace the slam dunk contest because I'm not smart enough to fix it. I don't know exactly how you time it out or how you ultimately figure out the winner, so to say. However, I think I'd be interested in seeing a King of the Court tournament. Right? So King of the Court is a one-on-one contest that NBA players do. Like, I remember legendary videos of guys at USA basketball during practices doing King of the Court where
Jordan does that in Las Vegas, his little camp.
Absolutely. And this is the thing. All these players love playing this game where it's
Yeah.
one-on-one, you get the ball, you probably have like a limited amount of dribbles, 3 dribbles to score. Whoever you score, you keep the ball. If you defend and they don't score, then you get to have the ball.
Right. And you go up to, I don't know about 11, maybe go to 5 or 4 or
Maybe.
something. Keep it moving.
And you just go in a cycle of
So they
having
keep
different
their
dudes
legs.
cycle in. And these dudes,
Competitive.
they compete.
They are so competitive.
And I think that's a way to get like actual basketball going, seeing like the talent that these guys have on display and somehow get them competitive. Now, the problem is, again, I don't know how you figure out the winner. I don't know how you do a time limit, but I feel like that could be the kind of spectacle that the dunk contest was. How do you like it? Maybe, no.
I like it a lot. Only thing is, I'm wondering about the buy-in on the big names. In
Yeah.
other words, is
That's
Durant-
a great way to get embarrassed.
Yeah, is Durant
Yeah.
afraid that LeBron gonna beat him? Is
Yeah.
Steph afraid that Luka gonna body him down and bump him
Oh,
back?
Steph shouldn't be in no King of the Court. He's
Put like-
going to get his ankle
put like,
snatched.
put like Steph versus Kyrie.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely getting his ankle snatched then. Oh, my
But
goodness.
then if he never misses, Kyrie's not gonna see the ball.
That's a good point.
I like your idea. I love that.
I look. It's yes, KD would dominate
Sure
that.
would.
That might be the
and
unfair
that fade
portion.
away too.
But the reason why I thought about this, remember the time when the All-Star weekend they started incorporating horse because they were trying
Yes.
to find something, and I was like,
yes, I love that.
this is because the horse did not go over, and I was like, yeah, because it doesn't feel like there's like the competition of it.
Right.
I feel like if you get them on the court one-on-one
Against each other.
you get some competition.
Those juices flowing.
I don't know.
I love it.
So yeah, you got connections. Can we get this up the ladder and maybe see if we can? Not this year. I figured
Not
that'd
this
be
year.
much to ask for.
Haven't plotted up.
Okay.
Because believe it or not, you never know. Sometimes all it takes is an idea. Just slide it up the chain.
All right, y'all. Let me know if y'all think that's a good idea. If you have one better, please let us know. I am here for it because I love hoop. Like All-Star Weekend, I know for some people it's not fun, especially the game. I've always loved it. It's just I'm a hoop lover, and so I'm
Same
going to
here.
watch it even if it is not the most fun. So hey, let's fix it if you can. Coming up next on the Get Right with Reggie KG on 105 through the Fan. We can go a couple of places here, CA. Which one of these do you want to do? You want to do some CA sports, or do we want to have a little conversation about the predicament you find yourself in here?
Can we do both, but the predicament a little bit later?
Yeah, let's do it like that.
Let's tease the predicament. I think I got a housekeeper who may not be good. Here's the tease for this segment, though. CA Sports. Rihanna, by the numbers. If you thought she killed it at halftime or you thought she sucked, you're going to be shocked at the reaction of what happened at the halftime. Next on 105.3 The Fan.
Coming up in the next G-Bag Nation, it is a triple bet payoff Friday. That starts at 2:20. What you drinking, what you thinking, 5:20. Nation 2 to 7, The Fan.
Tolo came up huge listening to our Super Bowl Radio Row coverage.
It was worth every single penny the station and the sponsors spent to send everybody out there, man. It was truly, truly enjoyable.
In 2 weeks, our road show continues with the guys back out to Arizona for Ranger spring training. We love having you along for the all-day ride right here on The Fan.
It's the Get Right with Reggie KG on 105.3 The Fan. Reginald Datatula, Chris Arnold.
Got you down.
Sitting in for KG. I almost said CA. I just got the initials mixed up. CA, KG, one of them.
It's all right.
It's CA.
CA and RA.
That's right. And Larry Flores. You don't really fit
LF.
you don't really fit the
LDF.
same, but it's all good. We're happy you're here regardless, and we're happy you're listening on 105 through The Fan, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're listening, however you listen. Appreciate you rocking with us on this Thursday evening. CA, we're coming off of the Super Bowl. We obviously, damn near everybody at the station was out in Arizona for the week leading up. Really fun game, at least in my estimation. I don't know if what everybody else thought. It felt incredible. We had probably like one of the highest numbers of viewers for the Super Bowl ever. So clearly a lot of anticipation, a lot of enjoyment. But within that, Rihanna did the Super Bowl halftime show, and I think you got a little stuff for us on that.
Yeah. You know, sometimes I do a CA Spots, which is a little bit different than a CA Stories Confidential.
Okay.
And it's kind of like talking something sporty, but not necessarily sports itself. And the Rihanna halftime, I did a deep dive into the numbers. First of all, I've been saying all week long, I was really looking forward to Rihanna's halftime performance. And I thought it was absolutely amazing. In fact, the best review I read of this was on Rolling Stone magazine, where they said Rihanna had the most DGAF halftime of all time.
Long hair don't care.
No, don't give.
No, I know. I was trying to give a more PG version of it. Yeah.
For those who don't know, don't give a F.
Okay.
And it started with this song. Who knew she would start out with this song?
I had no idea.
B better have my money.
I had no idea, but it was a good lead off.
So I want to know what you thought about. I loved every song she performed.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's other songs I would have even wanted to hear her sing some more.
She's got a lot of hits.
Yeah, she has a lot of hits. What did you like about it? Because some people didn't like her performance at all.
Yeah, I thought that the set list was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's her strength, right? Like, she's just got a lot of hits.
Hit
She's
after
got
hit
it,
after
and
hits.
not only are they hits, like they're recognizable pretty widely, right? So some artists you might get and you go, okay, I knew two of those. Like two of those were like real crossover hits that everybody hears, and then some of those sounded like fun, but I don't really know them. That's not really the case with Rihanna.
Yeah, so you might have forgot some of them songs.
Exactly. In fact, I think a lot of people did not recognize going in, and maybe I shouldn't say a lot because there's probably a good amount of people that are like, no, I was ready for all of that. But I think there was a good amount of people that going in would not have realized that they would acknowledge or know a lot of the stuff. And because she has those hits, she was able to roll them all out. And I think that she did a good job of selecting. I think she'd gone through like 39 iterations of the set list.
That's what she said.
That's how strong it is. And that's how much effort she put into like the set list. And so I really appreciated that. And I thought that was really good.
You know what's also wild about this? I was reading all these different reviews. And they were talking about how she was one of the few performers of the halftime, at least in the last 15 years, who did not have a surprise guest. Her surprise guest was that baby in her belly.
That's right.
And so she didn't have like some kind of a surprise guest that joined her on the stage, which she could have, because she's had a lot of mashups. She's had a lot of collabos.
Yes, she has.
And she did a lot of these songs. Like, you could go down the list. Turn this right here. She had a lot of songs that remember, she hadn't performed in 7 years. She hadn't done an album since 2016.
Yeah, Anti.
So it's like, wait a minute, what? Oh yeah, she was on Calvin Harris. Oh yeah, she was on DJ Khaled.
Yeah, she was one of those
Eminem.
people for a period of time where she was if you needed a hook on a song, right? If you needed to have your chorus, you go to Rihanna to get her to sing the chorus,
right?
So she's got plenty of those in addition to songs of her own.
Yeah,
that really
Jay-Z, Kanye, just go all down the list. So I'm like in total. Oh, turn this up. This is Calvin Harris. One of my favorite Rihanna songs.
Yeah, I could tell. You were like, I need to hear this.
My all-time favorite, I have to say, is Love on the Brain. She didn't get to that.
No, she did not.
But also, I also love do 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 do
Wild Thoughts?
Wow,
She
wow,
did
wow.
Wild Thoughts.
Yes, she did. And I was like, I lost my damn mind. My wife said, calm down. So like I said, I did a deep dive, not just on the different reviews, but I've always known they don't pay the performers, and it has nothing to do with it.
Well, they don't pay the primary performer, and now I think with Jay-Z getting involved, producing it, they have worked with SAG-AFTRA to make sure that like the dancers, backup dancers, get
yes, because they use a lot of dancers, and they've always done it over the years.
And it'd be wild to ask all those to be volunteers, so they're like, yeah, we're gonna make sure at least those folks get some money off of it.
I also liked her stage. Did you like the stage? It was
The floating stage?
The floating stage?
I appreciated it. I guess my criticism, if we can call it that, is just it felt like the entire thing, the performance of the entire thing, and understandably so, because one, pregnant, and two, she's not typically a like giant like performer in the same vein as Beyonce, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't get
she's not doing all the dancing.
Yeah, but it still felt pretty muted. And I would have liked more performance elements to it, whether it's like, okay, we're giving you more visuals in one way, or with stage design or those types of things. It felt like it was very, very muted, very contained and almost minimalist, which is fine. I was okay with it.
She let
but
her
it wasn't
voice
incredible.
do the work.
Yeah.
And she nailed it. And by the way, for people say, oh, she was lip syncing some of that. This is her performances. Just Google up or YouTube all of her performances. She uses a track behind her, and she will always wander off of that track. She just does that. She's like, she'll sing, and you can see she's matching her voice. You follow me?
Yep.
Her voice will come out when she's singing, and her track will be. Oh, here we go. Work. A lot of people thought Drake might show up on this one because Drake was in town Super Bowl week at all these different parties, but he didn't. She did her thing. But like I said, she has a voice, and she was killing it. So I did this deep dive on some of the numbers.
Yep.
She had 118, just under 118 million people watch that performance. But here's the context of it all. It was the second highest viewership of a halftime, right behind Katy Perry and that Left Shark. You know the Left Shark?
Yep. KG didn't want to put respect on Left Shark, and I
Left
was
Shark
like, you need to put some respect on Left Shark. Yeah.
And Katy had all these different guests. Oh, this is my song. Wait a minute.
There it is.
Wild Thoughts.
He just wanted to relive this real
I got
quick.
it. Because I like the Carlos Santana original. Maria.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. But back to the records and stuff she broke. Just under 118 million people watched it in all the different capacities, all the different platforms you could watch it on.
Yep.
Second only to Katy Perry. But here's the number that shocked a lot of people. Do you know more people watched her halftime than the game? I'm serious. And the game was competitive. This wasn't a Super Bowl where it was a runaway.
No, it was an incredible game. Yeah.
It was an incredible game. And even at the half, it was like, Patrick Mahomes, is he going to be able to come back? And he's hurt. Remember, he was grimacing?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Philadelphia Eagles had a lead. It was like, wait a minute, this game was compelling. And there was no point in the game that superseded the people who watched Rihanna's performance, which meant there are a lot of people
that tuned in just
for Rihanna.
Yeah.
And that's saying something. Now, I mentioned the performer, the star performer doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
Well, Rihanna, this is all the performers always get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
They get, recognition, that their songs go back into the charts.
Yep.
Billboard magazine said her catalog of songs surged, listen to this percentage, 140% in on-demand streams.
Yeah, I played a little bit because I think I actually tweeted it in the middle of the set. I was like, man, I realized that I've not given Rihanna songs enough respect in my personal, playlists and such. So I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and give some of these a run.
It was so crazy. Her songs increased. Let's see. They were talking about the increase, the build up to this. Once they announced she was going to be doing the halftime, It was like 42.3 million on-the-line demands in December, 48.9 first week in January, 53.4 million week of January 19th, 57 million. And then by the time she performed, 88 million clicks for the full 7 days, which meant, listen to this, they sold 42,000 downloads from Sunday and Monday afterwards. That's 473% higher than what they did on Friday and Saturday. And they said, this is how crazy it is. All the songs that she did at halftime garnered 27.7 million on-demand streams in the United States alone, up 219.6% compared to the 2 days prior. It was the most streamed halftime performance song out of her collection that she did. Which one do you think got the most?
Oh,
Out of all the songs she did.
that's a great question. Is it Work?
Nope.
Which one was it?
Umbrella. Now this is what's so
yeah,
wild.
That is the one that
It went up 177% compared to the weekend before. Here's what's so wild. Guess how many Apple demands of Umbrella over history? Now that's not even my favorite Rihanna song.
No.
But they say it's most people's favorite song. Guess how many Apple downloads or views were?
I don't even know. What.
1 billion with
My
a B.
goodness, that's a lot.
The second most was Diamonds. And you know, she wrapped up the performance doing
Yes, she did.
Diamonds.
Yes, she did.
Shine bright like a diamonds. So she killed it. She killed it. They had all these downloads, all these streams. And then she's now, it was a marketing campaign as well. Her people, you know, she's got her clothing line, which makes her a billionaire.
She's got Fenty,
Savage.
which is Fenty is the makeup brand. Savage by Fenty is
the clothing.
Lingerie and clothing, I believe.
So check this out. Did you notice in her performance, she dabbed a little makeup while she in between songs?
Yep.
It was like, okay, that was a nod to the Fenty.
Yep.
And so that made some money on that. Did you know she had a line of Super Bowl clothing, Super Bowl merchandise? She struck that deal with the NFL. They were doing a documentary with Apple, which also paid for a lot of stuff as well.
Okay.
She's on the cover of Britain's Vogue magazine with her and A$AP Rocky and the baby. Nobody's seen pictures of the baby. There they are on the cover.
Yeah, I did see
I'm talking
those.
about her son.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she's due with another baby.
Yes, sir.
I mean, talk about marketing, talking about being relevant, talking about the 7-year absence and the comeback. Rihanna killed it. For those who thought, wait a minute, this performance, it didn't matter. Because most people enjoyed it and most people proved it by spending that money.
There you go.
There you go. CA Stories Confidential? Nope. How about CA Sports? And there you have it.
There you go.
The Rihanna and the blowback of it all.
Thank you, CA. I appreciate you greatly. Coming up next on the Get Right with Reg and KG, we'll get into some headlines, let you know what's happening around the world of sports, and also get into some random thoughts where I feel like CA is having a little bit of questions on this house cleaner that he's having come in.
Oh, boy.
We'll dive into it and let you know more next on 105.3 The Fan.
Text away your thoughts to the guys right now on the truckwreck.com fan text line at 877-881-1053. This is DFW Sports Station 105.3 The Fan.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan. Go baby. KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
From our fan studios secured by DFWsecurity.com, it's time for the Get Right on 105.3 The Fan.
Wee!
That's right. That's Chris Arnold sitting in for KG.
Got you down.
I'm Reginald Datatula, and this is the Get Right with Reggie KG on 105.3 The Fan. Final hour of the show for this Thursday evening. Larry Flores, I ain't forget about you. You still hanging in over there. Are you warming up your vocals? We got this or that coming up here in a little bit. You ready? Okay, I'm getting visual confirmation that the vocals are getting warm. And that is, again, coming up in about 20 minutes. We'll get a little this or that going. Right now, on the Get Right, let's get into some of the headlines around sports. You don't really have a lot of local stuff happening, as obviously, Rangers are out in spring training or on surprise. The Mavs have finished their season.
Break.
Now they're on All-Star break. But
SMU got blown out by Houston in
that
basketball.
was where I was going to go.
Oh, okay.
That's right. SMU was playing basketball. It's not been an incredible season for them. That being said, they took on the number 2 team in the nation, the Houston Cougars, and it kind of went how those small numbers projected it will go. It was a loss for SMU, 80-65. That went in favor of the Cougars. Leader for your Mustangs was Zurich Phelps, the guard. He had 22 points on 7-17 shooting. So the Mustangs fall to 9-18.
Yeah, this is not their year.
Yeah, no, it is not. At 4-10 in conference. Yes, 9-7-2. UTA fired their men's basketball coach.
That is true.
Earlier this week, or maybe last week, I'm trying to remember exactly when it happened. I obviously paid attention to it because I went to UTA, and while I was there, I had an opportunity to cover the team pretty closely. Greg Young, who had finally become the head coach for a long time, was the associate head coach with various different coaches that came in, and older gentleman, and he finally got his opportunity to be a head coach, and it was really unfortunate that they wasn't able to get things going with the team. But
by the way, that's a hell of a facility.
It is. The College Park Center. Actually,
unbelievable.
Let me make this note, and I'll need to recall what the actual terms of the situation are. But that same building, the College Park Center, that hosts obviously the UTA Mavs, it hosts the Dallas Wings basketball, other events, will be the host site on April 29th, 2023. Virgil Ortiz versus Stanionis. I feel like I'm saying his name very wrong. And I don't want that man to come see me. But Virgil Ortiz Jr., Pride of Grand Prairie, will be fighting in Arlington for a title on April 29th. That is the part that matters.
I've been there for fights. If you ever want to see a great fight, that is a facility to go to. In fact, G-Bag, we did a show out there as well. That place is made for anything. But yeah, a great boxing venue it is as well at College Park.
Man, I'm so excited. I think the tough thing about that is my mother's birthday.
Oh, take her with you.
Well, she don't live up here, and that's the problem.
Fly her in.
Because I really want to go and see this fight live in person. Because Virgil Ortiz is one of those up-and-comers, man. Yes, he is a bad man, and I would really love to see him in person. On top of the fact that while you mentioned that's a nice facility, it's also not like a giant facility. It seats 7,000. So there's not really a bad seat in the house.
And it's cozy because it's new, but it's real comfortable. It's not like all plasticky, and it's really cozy. It's real. I can't even say enough about that place. I really, really like that place. By the way, 817 reminds us the UTA women's team, they beat Sam Houston State.
Yeah, I'll need to double check back in with the women's basketball team because they, if I remember correctly, have been doing some good stuff.
He's got a final score. It was in 2 overtimes, 106-104.
Oh, that's incredible. Woo. There was another game that went into overtime, women's basketball wise. Notre Dame beat
By the way, the
Louisville
women's College 4 is coming to Dallas.
Yes, it is. I'm very excited for that. And we will talk more about that once we get there. I think we have an opportunity to have a really fun interview for you guys at that point. So that's what's happening, at least in the NCAA, especially as it relates locally. In the NBA, the last game of the I don't want to say first half. We always say first half in basketball, and it really is
it's a little bit further.
The second third of the season because you get the home stretch at the end. But
at the break, the last game before the break.
Thank you, CA. That is the word that I need. Last game before the break is Clippers Suns. obviously a lot of intrigue between those two teams as they made moves at the trade deadline, and they are, two of the teams that people anticipate as being really good in the West. Currently, it is Clippers 52, Phoenix Suns 50 in that one with a couple of minutes before the half.
Now, here's the irony. KD is sitting courtside. Of course, he's injured. He's going to be coming back after the All-Star break. We don't know exactly when for the Phoenix Suns. And the Clippers are rumored to have the inside track to sign, after a buyout, KD's former Oklahoma City Thunder teammate, Russell Westbrook.
That's right.
And the reason why is because Paul George plays for the Clippers. Paul George, also a former teammate of Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City. Paul George absolutely loves Russell Westbrook, and so do a number of other players for the LA Clippers, and he wouldn't have to leave town because he's from LA anyway, and he was playing for the Lakers, and the Utah Jazz are letting him figure out what he wants to do. If he wants to finish up the rest of the season with the Jazz, they said they're fine with that. The other teams in contention for Russell Westbrook, the Chicago Bulls, who also the head coach of the Bulls is former Oklahoma City Thunder coach Billy Donovan.
That's right.
And then there's the Miami Heat. For some reason, they said, we want Russ. And then the Washington Wizards, for those who forget, before the pandemic, the season before the pandemic, Russell Westbrook was on a sorry Washington team, and he willed them into the playoff, the play-in rather. I think he was the NBA Player of the Month, the Eastern Conference Player of the Month in April. He was winning all these games because Bradley Beal was injured. And people in Washington love Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
In fact, the East Coast was liking him so much. This was the same year Harden got traded to the Brooklyn Nets, and they were talking to New York. Yeah, bring Russell up here. You know how those New York fans are. Bring him up here. Reunite the Thunder. Have KD, Russ, and Harden. We'll just take over. And then he went to L.A. with LeBron and AD, and then he became Westbrook.
And that worked very well.
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
Not quite.
Okay.
That's what they say.
All right. So within this, the All-Star game is coming up this weekend, and it feels like it's not going to be as strong as one would want. There's at least 3 injuries, at least when it comes to the starters. Steph Curry is not playing in this game.
Out. That Maverick game, he hurt his leg.
Kevin Durant is not playing in this game. He actually hasn't played for the Suns yet, coming off that injury.
Yeah, he's sitting on the bench over there.
Yes, he is. You said. And Zion Williamson, who has been out for a lot of time.
I feel so bad for him because he's always hurt.
He really is, isn't he? Replacements for those guys in the starting lineup will be Joel Embiid, Lauri Markkanen, and Ja Morant. Those are the guys who will replace as starters.
That means LeBron and Giannis have to choose them to start.
Yeah.
Now, they put it like this. They might not choose them immediately, but those guys will start the game.
Yes, sir. And Anthony Edwards, De'Aaron Fox, and Pascal Siakam are all now all-stars as injury replacements. So that's just some of the things that are happening around sports coming up this weekend, or I guess as we head towards the weekend. CA, as we head towards the weekend, I feel like you have
a dilemma.
You got people.
Yeah,
you got people coming through.
I got some people coming through, and so I have a small dilemma, and we need some help from the Tolos, 877-881-1053. That's the truckwreck.com text line. And the Get Right crew, I'm talking about the Tolos, who are loyal to the Get Right crew. Help me on this. So we got some people coming in, and I said, I ain't got time. My wife ain't got time. She worked too. We got to tighten up this house. Now, the house doesn't need to be totally clean, but we got to get it, little,
it's got to be presentable.
Presentable.
Yeah, you got people coming in.
I went online to this app, and I said, it's like a neighborhood app, Is there a cleaning? First of all, I asked a friend, and I talked to his people that can clean, right?
Yeah.
And she couldn't do it this weekend. She couldn't do it tomorrow. So
the recommendation was not available.
Right. So I said, let me go on this app and just put out a call. Let's see what can happen. And I got a response, and I'm going to change the name. Her name is Brenda.
Okay.
And Brenda's
got a baby?
Okay. Yes,
My bad.
That she has a nice little website, and it's like, oh, this is pretty cool, and the price seemed right. And I talked to her on the phone. I said, okay, can you come
Everything
over?
Seemed official and on the
yeah,
up and up.
Yeah, straight up and up. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Can you do a light cleaning? Hit the bathrooms, hit a couple of bedrooms, and just call it a day. And I said, if you do a great job, maybe we'll have you down the road do the whole house.
Okay.
And she was down with it. She said, I can come by tomorrow. Well, right after I said, let's do this thing.
All right, when you say right after, how soon?
Couple hours.
Okay.
There's a post right behind it. Do not hire Brenda under any circumstances. And I was like, oh
no.
And then I read it. I used Brenda and Brenda was sloppy. It was so raggedy. It was this, that. And I was like, oh no. What should I do? Should I call Brenda tomorrow and say, don't come by?
But you need the house clean.
I need the house clean, and I don't have time. My wife don't have time. It's just, we just need to look clean a little bit, right? Kids can't do it. So I started thinking when I was talking to you about this off the air, I was like, well, maybe I just tell Brenda, you look at this. You see this post? This person right here said they used you to clean their house and you didn't do a great job.
Are you going to be messy?
No, I'm just going to say, come on, let's prove them wrong.
Oh, you're going to motivate. All right, I see what you're doing. You Bill Belichick.
I'm going to try.
We're going to put some bulletin board material for the Brenda.
Now, what I was worried about before I read the post was, did Brenda steal something?
Yeah, that's a real problem if that's the case.
I can't have that.
Nope, it cannot be that.
Okay, we got one from the 972. I felt bougie when I hired a lady to clean my entire house. Deep cleaning took 8 hours. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. If you want to get it done right, it's going to take a while. Now, I'm not asking Brenda to do that. What she should do for me shouldn't take more than an hour and a half, 2 hours in my mind, because it's just a couple of bathrooms and a couple of bedrooms and vacuum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
By mentioning this long, deep clean situation, I did a few years ago. We hired this girl. She did a great job.
Is this Brenda?
No, it's another girl.
Okay.
I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But she came over, and I guess she had things on her mind. Old girl cleaned every single ceiling flange. She had a ladder, and she's methodical, real slow, real quiet, just grinding. I'm like,
did you forget she was there at one point?
I did. And I was like,
hey, wait,
she got there
at
8 a.m. I'm thinking she ought to be through at 1 or 2 o'clock at the most, because you're supposed to do the house, right? And she was there to 11 o'clock. I tightened her up with like $100 tip. And I was like, is she trying to impress me to do this on the regular? Or she just working out things in her mind? You know, sometimes people who are cleaning.
She's there for like 15 hours?
She was there all day and all night.
Oh
and the house was completely spotless. I don't know. I mean, I just felt bad for her. I'm like,
I would too.
But she was going room at a time. I go like, she still hadn't done this other room. I got to let her keep doing this. But she did a hell of a job. And I tightened up. I gave her $100 tip because I was like, I felt so bad because she worked so hard. Brenda, I'm not expecting all that. I just don't know. Am I doing the right thing by letting Brenda do the house tomorrow?
All right, let us know. Truckwreck.com text line 877-881-1053. So
have you ever had somebody that you just said, oh my God, I can't believe I let this woman clean the house? You ever have a bad experience with that?
Well, personally, I ain't really been in the tax bracket to have people can't clean my
you ain't
house.
Married.
That's it.
You ain't married.
Yeah, I'm like, hey man.
It's not even about tax bracket. Sometimes you might love your wife to death, but that's not her strength.
You know what? I understand.
It's what it is. And my wife can't clean the house, but it's not like I expect her to do it. She worked too. You know what I'm saying? Give her a day off sometime.
All right, so Opie World on the Twitch said, hide your valuables. That's all you can do at this point. I don't think that's actually a concern.
Thank God. I'm not worried about that.
I feel like at this point, how bad could it be compared to what you need? You know what I mean? Like at this point, you got people coming in, so it's got to be at some level of clean.
Yeah.
If it's not perfect, then it'll stink. But you know,
I'm not looking for perfect.
It'll be better than where it is.
Yes. So I appreciate the Tolo's help and the Get Right Crew's help. Appreciate
all right, we
help.
got Jolt Surex on the YouTube actually.
YouTube, okay.
That says make sure Brenda has her own cleaning supplies.
Yes, she did say she has her own cleaning supplies. Come on, 806.
All right, y'all doing a lot right now.
If she got her own maid outfit, come on now. He says, if Brenda's attractive and wears one of those maid outfits, I say let her do it. If nothing else, you can be entertained.
I don't think it's that type of thing.
It's not that type of thing. My wife gonna be there too. No, my wife got to go to work tomorrow. I'm gonna be there, but the kids will be there.
Yeah. So my thing about
it ain't like that.
Now the thing I don't know about is I don't know about doing the bulletin board material portion of this. I got real questions because this is a thing that could be motivational, or that could go an entirely different way. And I don't know what happens when you have a cleaning person mad, but I'm not sure I'd want to find out.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm going to say, let's prove these people wrong. You see this? Come on now. the way I talked to her on the phone today, she was cool. In other words, she wasn't sounding just straight up like, hello, this is what we do. She was like, oh, yeah. We kind of talked about the family a little bit. She go, oh, yeah, we can do something. We can work that out. So we'll see what she does. I'll give you an update next week.
Somebody else said on the Zobi World on the Twitch chat, I hired a cleaning lady once. Definitely felt bougie. Oh, she did a great job. Yeah, man. So, hey, sometimes you just got to do a little something for yourself, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I also don't know that I have enough stuff to like
clean. You don't have the supplies, do you?
Yeah, I don't have. Well, I mean, I got some supplies,
but you don't have.
I just
put like this.
I don't have enough stuff that I'm like I need somebody to come through and clean it. Usually,
I see what you're saying. You don't have
I'm just
enough
like,
items.
hey, Reggie, get on your grind and
well,
go
like
ahead
I said,
and clean this.
you're not married.
That's right.
Wait a minute. Let's see. I would do the same what CA is saying, but if you're going to motivate her, maybe some incentive also. I might financially motivate her too.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
have
a good, nice tip.
From the 979, buy your own carpet powder. Put it down before she starts to ensure there's a pleasant smell.
Yeah, believe it or not, for those who don't know, we got a vacuum cleaner too. So yeah, he's right. There's some powder you can put down, and when you vacuum, it's gonna make the house smell really fresh. So put the powder down and let her vacuum.
This is also a great point that comes in from the 682. They say their wife does housekeeping for a living. There's always that one person that expects too much for the price.
And I don't. I'm not expecting.
And there's also that one Karen
that's
never happy. And you know what? It might be someone that has bad expectations.
Yeah, that post person might have been a Karen. Good looking out. Appreciate y'all.
Because they might have been like, well,
I expected perfection.
You did not scrub underneath the sink.
Yes, I ran my finger across this and film.
I saw a singular hair fall from the sky. Yeah,
right. Good looking out. Yeah, my expectations are not perfection here. I just want a nice, clean look.
Yeah, I think you can make that. I think you can make that work. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. I appreciate y'all.
And somebody else said if it doesn't work out, they'll come clean your house, CA, in exchange for some tickets to the Mavs game.
You know, I would hook you up, but there's a line nowadays.
I wonder why.
Wonder why, Kyrie?
I wonder why. It's the Get Right with Reggie KG on 105.3 The Fan. I think we got that figured out for CA. The house will be clean. Coming up next, let's go to a little bit of this or that going on with CA and Larry Flores right here on 105.3 The Fan.
Listen live at work or while you surf 24/7 for free on the Odyssey app. This is 105.3 The Fan.
It's the Get Right with Reg and KG on 105.3 The Fan. Reginald Datatula. Chris Arnold sitting in for KG tonight.
Got you down.
KG having a little daddy-daughter time. So we hope he's enjoying his time with little Tori. Larry Flores hanging out here with us, as always, or frequent. I feel like I shouldn't say always. Y'all, I don't want y'all to get too comfortable expecting Larry to be here all the time.
Not every time.
Nope. And
Larry
you,
got a life.
I appreciate you that you are with us frequently or all the time, however you're listening. We appreciate it. Yeah, I was going to set it up, but I don't have nothing to say besides it's time for a little bit of this. And how y'all doing, gentlemen?
Hello.
What up?
Or in the words of Adele, hello. Or in the words of Lionel Richie, hello.
Yeah, I was like, where we go? I was like, how many of these can we pull out? How many other hellos you got?
I got one more. In the words of the Beatles, I don't know why you say goodbye, I say hello.
That's a great point. Fantastic.
Hello, hello.
Truckwreck.com text line 877-881-1053. You can get involved with this, that, or you can just keep giving us different hello lyrics from music. I would appreciate that as well. That's a very simple game. I will put forward a statement. CA and Larry will tell me whether they agree this or disagree that. All right, gentlemen. This came about the way that all my this or that's come about. Well, a lot of them, not all. Twitter. And honestly, a conversation.
A source.
With some of my friends as well.
Another source.
That's right. And this was really a statement that is pretty much taken from ripped directly from a text from a friend of mine, which is, hippo meat is probably delicious as long as you can catch one. CA, hippo meat is delicious. This or that.
That.
No, you say that.
Like, no, it's not
disagree?
delicious.
Okay.
I disagree.
Why is that?
Not every meat is edible. It might be too chewy. It might, you know what I'm saying? Just because it's a hippo don't mean it's good.
Okay.
Just because it's a hippo don't mean it's bad. But I'm like, I look at a hippo and I see meat that looks too chewy.
You think the meat is too chewy? Okay.
I think it's too chewy. Even if you barbecue it, if you roast it, it seems like it's too chewy. It doesn't seem firm. Even though a hippo is one of the fastest animals in the world, rhinos and
those
hippos.
Things are, I don't think
strong.
those things are tanks on feet.
They are, but it seems like the meat is tough. Think about it. It looks like it's more tougher than elephant hide.
Well, yeah, they have like 6-inch skin.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I don't want to try to fight that.
Larry.
It's too chewy.
I'm gonna go with this. They seem very grimy, right? Like very. But my question is that you said you pulled this from a text.
That's right.
So that's what I want to touch on. How did the conversation get to talking about hippo meat?
My friend, I can oblige you with that. It started talking about hippos because apparently, despite their bulky and heavy appearance, hippos, their fat layers are actually quite thin. So they're like 2,000 kilograms generally. They're made up of mostly muscles and 6 centimeter thick skin. Sorry, not 6 inches, 6 centimeters. So like basically you see a hippo and you're like, oh man, that thing is fat. No. That is all muscle, dog. That is actually all muscle. And that got me thinking, hey man, actually that wasn't me. A friend of mine was like, yo, we got to slow roast this bad boy. Basically he wants us eating hippo al pastor.
Oh.
And that's why I was like, hey.
Okay.
No.
Look, my problem is not with the hippo. I imagine that it would be, I'm in the camp where I think the hippo meat would be delicious actually. Like I feel like the animals that have to utilize their muscles ends up being delicious. I feel like it's the work that makes it delicious.
Well,
I don't
the
know.
469 saying the opposite. They said, why would it be tough meat if they don't do anything but sit and swim?
Oh no, they be moving.
Hippos
are actually
They're
fast.
very,
as hell.
very fast.
Look, let me do some Googles right quick. And
While you do the Googles, let me answer this text. They said we were talking about the word hello in different songs and things. 214 said, don't forget about the Isley Brothers. Hello, it's hello. No,
it's me.
It's me, baby. Thought about you for a long, long time. And then there's Neil Diamond's hello again. Hello.
Long time. All right, I'm not Ron Isley, so I need to cut it out.
And he got that from Todd Rundgren. That's a Todd Rundgren song from back in the day. Okay. Hello, it's me.
Okay.
It's me, baby.
All right.
I thought about us for a long, long time.
This is good stuff. I'm just gonna listen. I was singing about the Isleys earlier today.
You were.
I'm just gonna listen to a whole bunch of
Isleys
today. Isleys are
You're
great.
saying you got work to do.
That's right. I do have work to do. I got a job.
You got a
baby.
gig.
Yeah. Hippos can run like 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's very fast.
Yeah, it's a big old tank on feet.
Mm-hmm.
You do not want any problems.
Don't
with
let the little
hippos.
legs fool you.
It's a lot of momentum.
However, I see what you're doing there, and I'm not going to oblige you. However, if you catch a hippo, let me know. I want to see how it tastes.
Okay, the A17 says the thin layer of fat makes the meat not good because that's where all the flavor is.
I mean, I got some seasoned salt. You know what I mean? I'll throw that in there. No? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard, I mean, we talked about like lean meat or whatever. Okay, if you say so. I would like to try. That's all I'm saying. Unless they're endangered.
Looks chewy to me.
I don't want no government.
It looks rubbery. Endangered species. Yeah, you know it is. You can't be eating.
This is actually
meat,
a direct.
hippo meat.
This is a direct quote. I'm reading directly from the group chat here, Larry.
Okay.
Just putting the whole hippo on a kebab spear and using a sword to slice that over rice. I had to edit on the fly because I realized there was a bad word in there. Slice that thing over rice.
Okay.
This is how my friends kick it.
Since we're going down that path, when you eat it, make sure you watch out for the tooth.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be a hard one to miss. It's gonna be a real hard one to miss. Let's see.
They're not carnivorous, are they? They're vegetarian, aren't they?
Oh, that's a great question.
I think they're vegetarian.
I think they're vegetarian, but I know that they can get real aggressive, and I'm like, why is that?
Because it seems like they're always eating like some kind of leaves and stuff and big old giant palm trees or something. Leaves in the wherever that.
No, they're omnivorous.
Oh, they eat everything.
They're primarily herbivores, but
they'll eat you.
Yeah, so
chew you up.
Yeah, so somebody else gonna have to procure the hippo meat. But if you do, let me know.
Okay,
I'll pull up to the event.
469 says, I'd take a hippo that never had to face danger, fat and juicy, tang.
You think hippos don't have to face danger? I feel like I have to get on the warpath on behalf of hippos. I need to see if I can go be like hippos PR because clearly they have not been doing enough work. You should be terrified.
Right, you should be terrified of hippo.
Yeah, what would hunt a hippo?
Nothing smart.
Nothing smart. And
if you wanted to live.
And the bow and arrows would bounce off their body. The 214 says, don't forget about the doors. Hello, I love you. Won't you tell me your name?
There you go.
Hello, I love you. Let me step in your game. She's walking. Never mind.
No, I thought you were getting in your bag. Go ahead.
The street, like a doggy dog.
All right, you know what? I'm going to utilize some this or that's from the fan text because this person loves sending them in when we're doing them, and I don't always get to them. So shout out to you, 214. This or that, gentlemen. All-Star games should be at the end or after the season. Larry.
Ooh.
This or that.
I don't know, because I think at the end of the season, I can't help but just think about the NFL and how everybody's already all wiped out and kind of just done getting their surgeries in and, you know, already looking and making their offseason plans. I kind of like it like mid-year because, you know, you really don't know what's left to come. So I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say that.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to say that only because it seemed like the players would be not interested anymore.
Yeah, I'm in the same way. Although I think it's just various sports. You got to have, because like the sports with more games, baseball, basketball, it's so needed as a break. And
yeah, they're done.
To like kind of get through this. Football, I just don't know how you do like a Pro Bowl type thing in the middle of the season. I just don't know how you execute it.
And most people are like, I mean, that first month of the season, right? Like you've seen teams turn it around, players turn it around midway through the season and go on runs and stuff like that. How would you have a mid-season, like choose your all-stars 8 games in, you know?
Yeah, it's not enough games. It's a great point. Like what if we slide it to like 10 or 11 games? Is there a way we can get it done in the middle of the season? Also, I'm just like, look, it's hard to get dudes. You talk about like their bodies being broken down.
Yeah.
Their bodies are broken down in the middle of the season too. So getting them to play like this other
most of them want a
exhibition
load
game.
Management.
While also then telling them you got to get back out here, play 5 more real games.
Right.
I just don't know how this works.
Mm-hmm. Most of them, when they're not invited to the All-Star game or if they have their quote unquote injury, they're down in Mexico. They're on a Caribbean vacation. They're trying to recover. They're trying to like, woosah, get their mind right. By the way, back to the hippos real quick. 651 got all kinds of stuff. He says hippos in the water can swim. You ever see the videos of them chasing boats around?
And they're fast.
And they're very fast and they're very territorial.
That's
too.
right. And they're strong as hell, man. Like they're strong, fast, and like
Very strong.
indestructible. Basically, like why would you want any problems with that?
You know what make for a good all-star game? You make like football players play a basketball game, or make like basketball players play a flag football game.
They don't get hurt. Football players do not know how. You always hear about some different sport playing a pickup basketball game and getting hurt.
But it'd be interesting to watch.
Yeah, it would be. The Cowboys used to have a all-star off-season basketball team that used to travel all over the state and play pickup games for charity. Some of them can play. Michael Irvin can play. Emmitt Smith cannot play. Just say most running backs cannot play basketball.
From the 469, hippos bathe with alligators, man. Yeah, I don't even know exactly what that means, but it seems like they have the right spirit, which is you should respect and fear hippos. Like, I don't know what else I was supposed to be doing in this segment. However, I feel like it has just been preaching the gospel of hippos are scary and you should fear them.
Run.
That's right. Let's get one more in here. Valentine's Day just passed. Gentlemen, Valentine's Day is the worst day to try and eat out, right? Like go on.
You can't get a reservation. There's lines out the door because everybody's
even with
going
the
to the same
reservations.
spots.
It's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst night to go and try and eat at a restaurant. CA, this or that.
This is true. There's no question. Unless you think you're going to eat at 5 p.m, right after you leave the Kroger store with your roses. I'm just saying, keeping it real. Don't try it. You cannot get anywhere. Even like I said, even if it's a restaurant that doesn't take reservations or something, you can't get in. There's lines, people sitting on the chairs outside the door. You just don't even try it. And there's a lot of guys that pick Valentine's Day to break up with their girlfriend.
Yeah, we had someone on the truckwreck.com text line who like tried to, avoid the lady friend a few weeks before to try and avoid the holiday. Hey, it's a bold strategy. Larry.
Yeah, I'm gonna go this past Valentine's Day. Hung out with my daughter and I asked my sister, I'm like, hey, y'all want to tag along? I'm gonna go pick her up. I got her a bracelet. We're gonna go pick it up and then, we're gonna grab something. Do you want to roll with us? And they're like, yeah, let's go. So we tried to grab something to eat, stopped at the Olive Garden down the street, and we're like, hey, what's the wait? He said about 2.5 hours.
Hey, yo.
I was like, you want to get some pizza? She's like, yep, let's go.
That's right.
Let's go. Just that simple. 972 is funny. He says, Valentine's Day is February 14th.
Mm-hmm.
February 15th is Side Chick Awareness Day. And that's when you need to go eat. Side chick got to have some food too.
I mean, look, everybody got to eat, so.
Speaking of eating, the 651 still has these hippo facts. Said that hippos kill an estimated 500 people a year. Chomp, chomp.
I'm trying to tell you, man, these hippos are not to be messed with. They're not to be trifled with.
Not to be trifled with.
Again, who is the hippos PR? Because they're not doing enough. Y'all clearly don't know enough about these hippos.
Must have forgot.
Anyways, that's how we do a little this or that on the Get Right with Reg and KG. Coming up next, it's Final Call. Let's go ahead and end the night the right way right here on 105.3 The Fan.
Coming up Friday morning on Sean and RJ, how worried should we be about Jacob deGrom? Jared Sandler joins at 8:40, plus a Fall Out Boy ticket giveaway. It's a Friday morning on The Fan.
Hey, we're doing some quick laundry, repacking our bags, and heading back out to Arizona as the only DFW radio station covering Ranger spring training. We're live from Surprise with guests, insight, and, of course, more hijinks beginning Monday, February 27th on your home of the Rangers, 105.3 The Fan.
It's the Get Right with Reggie KG on 105.3 The Fan. Reginald's Attitude. Chris Arnold been in for KG all evening.
Got you down.
Appreciate you, sir.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
Larry Flores in with us as always. Got a little bit of his voice in that last segment. Now we're going to let him do his thing. How's that sound? As long as he makes sure to give me music, as it is final call here on the Get Right. A little programming note, I guess. KG obviously back tomorrow for a full
It's
7
been
to
a while.
11 show.
What'd y'all do with Boomer?
We sent him packing.
Send him back to New York?
We done played the Super Bowl. How
That's right.
How much? Ain't even no kickoffs. Ain't no kickoffs to talk about. So we can't do kickoff for Boomer and Valenti. You will get 4 hours of the Get Right on a Friday night.
Yeah.
We hope to keep you company as you hang around at the house or drive around the Metroplex, headed to an event, or whatever you're doing. We will be hanging out with you from 7 to 11 tomorrow evening.
The 972 answers the question that you had this or that. He says, hippo tastes like lamb. Pretty good. Not enough fat to slow cook, more like a steak.
Perfect. Give me 17 hippo steaks. No more, no less. 17 of them things.
You want the legs?
Whichever
like
one's the
legs?
best. Oh, hippo leg. I feel like I can't.
They're so
like
short.
That's too big.
Like stumps.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like tree trunks.
Somebody said there's no Mavs game, so they're going to get drunk and listen to us tomorrow. All right, don't get too drunk now. Be careful. Might have stuff to do. Anyways,
Don't fall asleep.
There's a couple of stories that I find interesting here. CA, one of which pointed to the fact that Eagles fans are out of their damn minds. Apparently, the headline goes like this. Eagles fan accused of throwing meat cleaver at firefighter.
What?
And vandalizing fire station.
That's crazy.
So this is not in the city of Philadelphia. Of course, we had to have a crossover. We had to have Philly fan and Florida man. Martin County, Florida. Deputies said an Eagles fan got his wings clipped after, that's nice writing, after he was arrested for vandalizing a fire station and throwing a meat cleaver at a firefighter. So the Martin County Sheriff's Office said 25-year-old Edward D'Alessandro, that's really weird that he has the name Dallas. He has Dallas in his name. Edward D'Alessandro from Philadelphia broke into a fire station around 10 p.m. on Sunday, February 12th. When he was inside, he ransacked the bunk rooms, urinated on the carpet, and stole $126, a uniform, hat, and some knives. That is a very, very weird combination of things.
Very strange.
I am looking for what substances he may have been utilizing in doing this. Quote, the individual made entry through the door in the back of the station, and the whole situation is very scary and just unexpected. The district chief said, investigators said when D'Alessandro was confronted by firefighters, D'Alessandro threw a meat cleaver at them. Luckily, the firefighters got the upper hand and were able to apprehend him until deputies arrived.
That's a big knife.
Yes, it is.
You could lose a hand at the wrist.
I guess you could.
Whack.
Yeah, if you're not careful. From the another quote from deputies, we learned from his friends that he was kicked out of a bar earlier in the evening. There it is, drunk, for being belligerent and extremely intoxicated. We have no tolerance for it. He was arrested and sitting in our jail for a $120,000 bond. Okay. Florida man, Eagles fan, if you ever wondered what happens if you match those together, apparently it is breaking into a fire station of all places, right? Like if you're going to break into a place and try and steal from it, apparently, why would you go into like a building that is owned publicly?
Right. Let alone full of fire engines and Dalmatians.
That's what one would think. But apparently he was like, what objectives for this trip? Objective 1, pee on the carpet. Objective 2, steal a very moderate amount of money. Objective 3, get some knives. I don't understand what he was trying to do, but I guess he was very drunk.
940 says no, it wasn't drunk. Florida man, so it's got to be meth.
Well, they ain't find nothing. May if it was, they didn't tell us about it.
It would have showed up in the store, right?
I imagine
Count his
so.
teeth. That'll tell you something too. Oh, back to the hippo. 469 said next you guys gonna have a guy on that said that hippo tastes like chicken.
I'm gonna find out.
I heard that the hippo tastes like a rhino.
How would you find out about a rhino?
I don't know. Cousins.
I don't know. My head was just like, is a hippo or rhino tougher? And I still think I'm going with the hippo.
Yeah, I think the hippo's tougher too.
That's crazy. Anyways, this question rises, gentlemen. Are you too fat for Universal's new Mario Kart ride? Anybody want to put in their guesses to begin? Anybody feel?
Is there a weight limit?
Well, let's find
like
out.
A height limit on some of these rides?
Let's find out. So the average American guy apparently is too fat for Universal's new Mario Kart ride. The new Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge ride in Super Nintendo World warns riders that waistlines measuring 40 inches or more may not be allowed to ride.
That's a lot of guys can't get on there.
Yeah, man. It's actually being called blatantly fatphobic because the dark reality of the size restriction is that many Americans have larger waistlines than that and will not be able to ride. This ride is debuting tomorrow, actually, at Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios in Hollywood. And it warns that riders with a waistline measuring 40 inches or more may not be allowed to ride.
Okay, so they don't want you to fall out of the ride, but also all rides, most of them have a belt. So do like the airlines, get you an extension.
Yeah, give me an extendo. Can I get 2 seats? Right? Like speaking of airlines,
Exactly.
Can I get 2 seats and then I can get in here or no? Apparently the average American waist measures 40.5 inches for men. So
did you ever fly on a plane with somebody that actually occupied and bought 2 seats?
I have not. I've been very fortunate myself.
It has happened to me, and the guy was very, very clean. He's very large. I saw him at the gate, and I was like, I bet he's going to sit in first class. He actually sat next to me, and coach, he had the aisle seat and the middle seat, and I was by the window. And I will say he was very pleasant. He was very nice. The thing I felt bad for him, I kid you not, Rich, I'm not making this up. This is not a joke. It actually happened. The flight attendant comes by and says, "Gentlemen, will y'all be having lunch?" And I said, "Yeah." So I put my tray down. He said, "Yeah." He tried to put his tray down, but his stomach was too big.
Oh no.
And he said, "Never mind." But he was a really nice guy. I felt bad for him.
I mean, I would too. Like, he should still be able to get a snack.
Yep. And then, of course, he did have that extension. You know, they gave him the extension for the belt, seat belt and all that, but he couldn't put the tray down.
From the 817. Boy, if someone tells me I could fall out of a ride, I can live without going on that.
There you go.
No dying, not dying, right? I respect it, but hey, man, you went to... I imagine not a lot of people went ahead and read up on the ride before they got there, so it's not fun to be like, yo, I'm here and I would like to ride the ride, and oh wait, nope, can't do it.
But then again, maybe if your waist size is over 40, you cannot fall out of the ride.
Yeah, you might be in the ride
Stuck.
a lot longer than you want to be.
Get me out of here. We're trying. We're anybody have any grease? We're trying to get him out.
All right, for the 254, what do y'all think is better, hippo meat or gorilla meat? I can't imagine.
Oh boy,
that like fried gorilla is any good. I don't know
why. I cannot imagine. It just seems too sinewy.
I don't know. Maybe, but I feel like I'm going with hippo there.
Okay, we got another one. 469 says, "Nah, fellas, the rhino actually has armor plating under its skin over front and hind quarters. Rhino will hold his own with his horn."
I can see it. I can see it. That's fair. I was like, yeah, there's not really a weak spot for a hippo to take advantage of there. But hippos them jaws are strong.
Yeah, they're like you said, they're underestimated. One of Tolos just texted in and says the hippo is the most deadly animal alive. And I was about to say,
that's right.
Reg, I was about to say, you opened up a can of worms with this.
That's right.
But you didn't. You opened up a can of whoop ass.
That's right. That's what hippos should be called.
Can of whoop ass.
They just a can of whoop ass. They a big old can of whoop ass is what hippos are. The thought of eating gorilla meat seems too much like cannibalism. No thanks. That's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair. All of this is pretty nonsensical, but that's what I like doing.
Yep. You don't want to. No, you just don't.
Where were you going? Wait a minute. What just happened there?
I was just thinking about I'm Caesar. And I was like, oh, you don't want to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cannibalism.
Yeah. If he comes through and he's like, hey, I heard you ain't my cousin. We might have to settle that up.
I'm Caesar.
Yeah, that would not be very fun. This is like a little scientific thing that apparently spontaneous action matching in, all right, that's gonna be too much to explain. I don't feel like doing that. That's a lot. Yeah, so we're heading into the All-Star break. Are you excited for the All-Star game, CA? Not at all?
Well, I'm going to watch, but I'm not going to like excited for it. I just want to see, put it like this. I just want to see different players play. Now, we already know Luke is not going to do very much because, he doesn't get up and down the court fast.
Yeah,
enough.
his game does not transcend or does not
it
really
doesn't translate to
the All-Star game. No.
Yeah. It's just like it's John Morant should have a great time in it,
All right, 254. I'm gonna have the authorities show up at your house.
Yeah, really. He's accountable.
I've just been notified by Larry Flores that apparently yesterday, not today, but yesterday, was World Hippopotamus Day.
Really?
I did not realize
what
this.
What a coincidence.
We were so close.
Wow.
We were so close.
We had to save the best for today, though.
Apparently, Colombia has the largest population of wild hippos outside of Africa.
Oh, okay, outside of Africa. Okay.
That's right. About 140 hippos.
How'd they get there?
I imagine they swam. Like, if you told me a hippo swam across the Atlantic Ocean, I'd be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I truly believe them to be like the most fascinating things.
Those little legs be getting it underwater.
On this earth.
You think about ducks. It's like hippo legs.
Just call them up top. Just little legs. Little flippers underneath. Larry, I have all that quickly forgotten when we were supposed to be out on this show.
Yeah, we have
we got a minute left. Fantastic. I imagine it's the same as last night, correct? Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I appreciate. 254. Human meat is the best. Yeah. I'm letting the
come and get you.
The authorities know.
Hannibal.
So they can
Mr.
come
Lecter
and get you.
We're gonna look in your refrigerator, Jeffrey Dahmer.
See, when are you on air next?
Saturday afternoon, 1 to 5 with Alec Medford, Little Red Med.
That's always fun. Medford is coming into his own doing this.
Yes.
We always enjoy him in here when he's on the Get Right, but of course also hosting on the weekends. Fun stuff. What is that? Yeah, that's right. It's from the 682. It's not a can. That's a 55-gallon of whoop ass. That's just a barrel of whoop ass.
A barrel of whoop ass.
If you learn nothing else, hippos are bad animals that you do not want to mess with.
Badass animals.
For CA, the 3-time Hall of Famer for Larry Flores, my man on the ones and twos for KG, who's having daddy-daughter night. We appreciate you. We hope you have a wonderful night. It's been the Get Right on 105.3 The Fan. Y'all be easy. Peace.
Download the Odyssey app and keep us with you.
Everything you need.
Listen to your favorite shows, get podcasts, and much more. Yes! From DFW Sports Station, 105.3 The Fan.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan. Hello, baby. KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
You're listening to the KNC Midnight Snacks on 105.3 The Fan.
Back here on the KNC Masterpiece on 105.3 The Fan, we're going to look into some trades, Mike, in the next segment. We're going to how the trades worked out for some of these teams. Would you be interested in making some big trades if you're the Cowboys? But I want to directly hit what happened last night in the Mavs game. I want to, Kyrie's out, the back injury or the back tightness that he's dealing with. Jason Kidd's like, hey, I don't know, when or where it happened. But the team, you have to play games. You still have to go out and play the basketball games. And I just, from the get last night, Mike, it felt like they all went, well, Kyrie's not in. Our energy level is going to be different. And I don't know if that was just looking at the lineup or realizing, hey, we're going to be playing Luka ball tonight and just be ready to stand around and shoot whenever called upon.
I kind of disagree with that.
Okay.
I think it's the lack of talent on your team.
Absolutely.
Frank Ntilikina is not an NBA basketball player. He should never play an NBA basketball game. If he wants to wave a towel on the bench, fine. But literally, he had to play half of the game last night, and he's just horrible. I hear what you're saying, and I understand. And there is a person who follows basketball way more than we do. It's their life to follow it. And they said, Luka does play slow, but it helps their defense out that he plays slow because they're such a bad team that playing slow helps them get back on defense. When you play fast and then you have more turnovers or you miss a shot and you're sprinting up the court, all of a sudden it's tough to really get back because now you're playing at such a pace that you can't try to set up your defense. Not that the Mavs have a good defense because Luka, I don't think Luka is trying to set up their defense, but it's like when you play this fast, you can expose your defense more type of deal. So I hear what you're saying.
And that's interesting, too, because
Josh Green was a bad player last night, too.
Luke has also said, I'm slow. You asking him to play fast on defense or to set up the defense that other way would not be conducive to what he does well either. So, just let the guy do what he does well. And Josh Green was bad last night.
Right. So that's your second best player, right? With Kyrie out, and really Josh Green is pretty much has to be your third best player the rest of the year. And this is where we get fooled on things. And we do this all the time in all sports. Oh my God. And for Tony Pollard, it kind of worked out, but sometimes we'll have a guy that has this great 2 or 3 week stretch in football because that's what everybody follows. And you're like, that's who he is. Oh my God. Is he going to get 20 sacks next year? Is he going to end up the season with 15 sacks? And then a couple games go by and you're like, hey, what happened to him that he had 5 sacks in 2 games? Why did he not have any sacks in the next 2 games? It's like, well, you have to let things play out because sometimes just because you see it, this is where I disagree with sometimes scouts. I know Broadus says that this, and I disagree with him. Well, if I saw it once, this is what Jerry Jones says too. If I see it once, then I know he can do it consistently or do it all the time. No. That's not even close. Somehow I threw a ball 90, 91 miles an hour every once. It didn't mean I could throw the ball 90, 91. I don't know why the gun said 90, 91, but it did. It happened. I threw it that hard. It doesn't mean that's who I am.
Why that happened?
And I'm not saying Josh Green is 6 points and a negative 20 basketball player. That's what he was last night on his plus minus. But he's probably the guy that we saw on that road trip. He's probably not ready to be that guy consistently for you. Remember, if you look at Jalen Brunson at the same age was still at Villanova, that Josh Green is now in his 3rd year in the NBA. And I know that it's not apples to apples type of deal, but probably Josh Green isn't ready yet to be the consistent, I'm going to give you 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists on a pretty consistent night. And if my bad games are not far from that and my good games aren't like crazy past that number. So I think what we are finding out after that road trip in these last 2 games is, hey, Josh Green is a developing player. We can't say what he's going to be yet. I think he's going to be good. I think he is going to be 15, 5, and 5, but that might be still a couple more years down the road that you consistently get the numbers you need from him to be your 3rd or 4th best basketball player down the road. But since he had a bad game and he was struggling last night, and Luka doesn't have anybody, Reggie Bullock is what he is. He was 1 for 5 last night. So if you have, I'm dribbling the ball down the court and I'm Luka Doncic and I want the ball movement to happen. I saw the ball movement when I was hurt. I want the ball movement. Well, Reggie Bullock can't hit a shot to save his life and he can't do anything with the basketball unless it's catch and shoot. Dwight Powell's only a catch and dunk pretty much guy, or a catch and lay the ball up guy. Frank Ntilikina shouldn't be on a basketball court in the NBA. And then Josh Green is struggling for this night for you. What do I do? What do I do if I'm Luka?
I was wondering this too. The conversation of, when your ace gets to go up against the fifth pitcher on a team, that's going to be a different day for your ace. Like your team's probably going to put some runs on the board. Oh, like that's the hope.
Right.
When your first or your second cornerback gets injured, or your second wide receiver gets injured, now your quarterback, the team can focus most of their attention to your CeeDee Lamb. And I do wonder how much that affects things whenever now Luka's sitting there going, I don't have that other person. And not that they're playing 50 minutes together, but whenever they're on the court together, now your second best defender has to guard the second best offensive player. And both of those guys are probably your first best offensive player on the team. So like that does change a lot of that. But you're also going up against a pretty good team. Like Denver's not a bad team.
And I get this too. Well, they're the best team in the West. I think they're going I think Phoenix is going to go to the NBA Finals. As long as they don't match up before that, I do think it's Denver versus Phoenix in the conference finals. I think that those two teams are by far better than all the teams in the Western Conference. And I know we still have to see Kevin Durant play with the Phoenix Suns. And if you didn't see this last night, Mikal Bridges, it's interesting when he's like, hey, you got to play a role on our team. Mikal Bridges, for Phoenix Suns, I was about 15 points. Well, now with Brooklyn, they're like, hey, we might build this thing kind of around you, at least for now, until maybe things change. Last night he had 45 points for the Nets. So you see how kind of roles can kind of change for a guy, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, he can do that? And I'm not saying he'll do that a lot, but you see that how good of a player Mikal Bridges can be in another situation with another team. But getting back to last night and the Denver Nuggets, I think we have to remember this, because the Nuggets are way better than the Mavs. Nuggets were missing their second and third best players. They didn't have Murray, and they didn't have Gordon. So the Mavericks played them, and yes, the Mavericks were missing Kyrie. But you have to remember, Denver was missing their second and third best players on their team last night and pretty much took it to you. I thought it was interesting last night that the Mavs said, you know what? Jason Kidd was so mad about defense. And I get it. I get why he's mad about defense. He knows if you don't even try on defense, you have no chance of winning a playoff game or playoff series. And he said, I'm going to play Frankie Smokes. And instead of playing like Jaden Hardy, I'm going to start Jaden Hardy and see what happens. Or I'm going to go a little bit bigger. I'm going to play Christian Wood, and I'm going to have my guards being Luka and Green, my forwards being Bullock and Wood, and my center being Dwight Powell. And I'm going to try this lineup, but I know that I'm playing guys that might not care too much about defense. So he's like, I'm going to make a point. I'm going to start Frankie Smokes to show that if I'm going to yell at you guys